Oof, I'm exhausted right now.
Welcome again back to the Outer Dimensions podcast, the channel that, well, we review any and all kinds of movies that you can possibly think of. And of course, as always, we have Dre, of the CEO of the Collector Safe Space, and of course me, that crazy ghost busting dimension hopper, Dave's Dimension. So this week, it's Halloween.
Wait, before you continue, can we all, folks, give a standing ovation to this man hitting 1,500 subs on YouTube? Because Dave's Dimension, folks, hit that 1,500 mark. And I'd like to say congratulations to my brother from another mother, because I was not going to let you try to go slink by and not say anything like that. So, yes.
Hey, it's just like age. It's just a number.
I know, but it makes you feel at least a little bit better on your day.
Yeah, I mean, it's I never thought I would hit 100, let alone 1,500. So I mean, but that's thanks to you and so many other people out there. So if it wasn't for people liking the videos and occasionally watching them, then so I appreciate it. Need a little bit of positivity this week, but guys, it's October. It's Halloween. Although if I had it my way, it'd be Halloween year round. So I'm just saying.
My kids would rot their teeth out because of all the chocolate and candy they'd eat.
But I'm gonna go through the chat. We got Mega Demon Collects.
Hey Mega, nice to have you, brother.
And of course we got Dre, or should we call him one day late Dre? No.
Hey, I get off work at 6:45. I was rushing to finish my dinner because I had started dinner before I even could finish.
But, and then there's always a but. Sometimes it's funky. We are going to start our first week of Halloween, but before we even get to the movies, we want to do a shout out to a brother of ours, EC Collecting, Colin of EC Collecting, because this man does everything. He does streams, does reviews. He's a father. He's also a big horror fan. And speaking of which, he is actually in a contest right now to win a prize to become the face of horror. Which he even, the winner they get some cash, of course. But they also get the chance, don't they get to appear in a movie with Kane Hodder?
I think they meet him. I don't know if they get
or they meet him.
Yeah, they meet him.
I mean, to meet, OG
a horror icon.
Jason. And if you guys want to support and vote for our brother, I threw the link in the chat. And I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. So if anyone wants to check that out, please do so. You know what to do. At least I pinned that to one of our chats.
It's been pinned. I see it.
Okay. Now, I love Halloween. I love October. Because I love the spookiness. I love the fall, the cooler weather. Dre, you can't say nothing about cold, cooler weather. Y'all down in Carolina.
What?
It's like 47 degrees. It's 47 degrees, 45 degrees overnight here in Buffalo. So, we're already in that cold
49 the other morning when I texted you. So let's see. Right now, my temperature here in beautiful North Carolina, it's actually raining and it is 65 degrees.
It's like 52 right now, but I'm just saying. Now, guys, another reminder is this is episode 19. You know what that means. After next week's episode, we'll do another upload. So that's another 5 episodes of the Outer Dimensions podcast on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts from. So please go ahead and check it out. You'll have a new batch of episodes to listen to. We are starting off with kid-friendly Halloween movies.
And that's debatable from what people have been telling me.
It's well, yeah. There's a lot of movies. Now these picks, I picked one movie. Dre picked the other two, and it is debatable. There's a lot of kid movies out there, but there's a lot of movies that a lot of people once have known.
That is also true.
I mean, there's some Disney classics I could have thrown out there. And when I say classics, we'll see. What I'm thinking of is, when I'm thinking of like classics, I'm thinking like stuff we used to watch on the Wonderful World of Disney back in the day.
Oh, like Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Not that far back. There was like some TV movies that they did. Like, what was the one with Mr. Boogity Boo? Do you remember that one?
No, that's actually one I do not remember.
They weren't like in the theater movies. They were like movies that they made and they aired on like Sunday nights on ABC.
Yeah, it would have been like ABC or NBC, whatever network had owned the rights.
It was like along the lines of like their Disney Channel type movies that they made. Oh, she's giving you the stink eye, Dre.
No, she's in a mood because my wife's not home yet.
So, guys, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, freaks of all ages, let's get the movies up. And yes, Dre slaved over the cheat sheets. We got a good one this week, guys. At least I think these are some good picks. Now, like Dre said, some of them could be debatable as far as kids. You know, we could have.
There's one that's on there that I've gotten a lot of blowback.
Was it the one I mentioned?
Yes, I have had a lot of blowback because I did some research. So I will argue. I'll discuss that one when we get to it. Yes. But yes, I have gotten several interesting comments.
Which is why I titled older movies.
Hey, Rolando.
Maybe I should have put teenage movies. Teenage family movies.
I would have toned it down. But then when I thought about it and how old I was, I took into account several different factors. I took my age into account.
And some of these movies are 20 or more years old.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could have went Casper. We could have went Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is and the thing is, we showed. Okay, so full disclosure, you all know that my daughter is 13 and the youngest one is 3, and we showed Lana Beetlejuice. God, we must have just been dating for about a year. And I said, hey, you got to show her Beetlejuice. So I remember we rented it, we watched it, and I was like, everything is good up until there's like 2 scenes when he's like, nice freaking model. And and then he's like, then he goes into the strip club, and, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I had the Eternals moment all over again. I'm like, cripes. Like, why was my daughter having to see this awkward sex?
Or what about the scene when Beetlejuice is in the waiting room towards the end of the movie, and he's trying to feel up the one girl,
and he gets the head shrinking powder on him.
Yeah.
So I mean, but Beetlejuice is.
Look for me.
But see, a lot of people argue that there was a lot. That was PG-13, and that's Tim Burton versus my choice.
Duff.
Hey, Greedo and a Speedo.
Oh, so big. Greedo's my boy. I'm glad to see Greedo popping up in chats. But guys, our 3 movies that we are showcasing this week, obviously make Halloween memorable this year. Okay? It's all about the freaks. Freaks come out at night.
I hope you like these. I had fun doing these cheat sheets for Halloween. Because I love finding the pictures.
I believe the first one is my pick, right?
Yeah, I think the first one is your pick because of date-wise.
This, to me, okay, Monster Squad, 1987. My youngest brother was born in 87. So I was born in 78.
You're talking about my little brother was born in the 90s. So
we don't talk about the millennials, right?
We don't.
But yeah, Greedo says, "Freaks come out at night. Here I am.
The freaks come out at night."
See,
God, we're old. Dude, if I told you at work, but they were playing songs today that only like we would only people above the age of 35 to 50 would have known.
Hey,
And like there's a couple of kids, like younger, like women and men in my class, and none of them were like, they're like, oh, we know Celebrate. And I'm like, no, y'all don't know like Celebrate. You gotta do the shuffle, you gotta do the electric slide style dance to it. And they were looking at me like,
yes, Duffman, Wolfman has nards. We'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah,
Dre, if you don't mind, I want to take this one myself.
Go ahead. This is yours. This is all yours. I knew when this was being done.
This is Universal Monsters. Okay, this is what Universal has not been able to do. Because we had Dracula, we had Wolfman, we had the creature from the Black Lagoon, we had the Mummy, we had everybody in here. We had Frankenstein. I mean, we had everybody in here. They even had a Van Helsing type monster hunter, even though they didn't call him Helsing. At least I don't believe so.
No, he wasn't called Helsing, but he was a vampire hunter.
August 14th, 1987. Literally, about 2 weeks before about 2 weeks before my little brother was born. He was born August 31st, 1987. So there. Director is Fred Decker. He did a lot of movies and a lot of TV back in the 80s. This was written by Shane Black and Fred Decker. Starred Andre Gower. Now, most of these people you guys are not gonna know. There's only one person who I recognized when I saw it as a kid, and I always recognize the guy's face all the time. Well, there's two people in here. The one is the one who's like the in here. You basically let's just start with the plot. Plot is you got these high schoolers, these younger high schoolers who they have a club called the Monster Squad. They like to discuss different monster movies and test each other on, how do you kill a vampire? How do you kill Wolfman? The weaknesses in monster movies, the things we all did as kids, right? But what happens when you have a monster squad, a monster club, and then real monsters pop up? Well, they're the ones who step up. It's kind of like a kid's version of Ghostbusters in a way.
If you took Ghostbusters and Goonies and kind of mixed it together.
Yeah, but in honestly a good way.
Yes.
What happens is there's, Dracula is being transported, all these monsters, what were thought to be like artifacts or like in crates. It's actually Dracula. It's the Mummy. There's even, I'm blanking on his actual name, but there's a gentleman who was in the show, The Pretender, and he's appeared in a lot of different stuff like Real Genius. I can't think of the actor's name, but he is actually Wolfman. I mean, you get a whole host of people in here. They're kind of like the character actors of the 80s, kind of, But what happens is you got Dracula, who doesn't just want to, like, kill people. He wants to take over the friggin' world because there's an amulet that will kind of unlock powers and such. But at the same time, well, these kids find out that there's real monsters, but nobody's going to believe them. The one kid, his dad is like the top cop of the town. Nobody's going to believe them. So it's up to them. And recently, they kind of talked this one older high schooler to join them. And the older high schooler is actually, if you guys grew up in the 80s and you ever watched Kids Incorporated, he was one of them. But, man, this thing it's got so many funny lines. Like, you got some bullies in here. One of them was one of the older brother from Wonder Years was one of the bullies in here. Because you got the chubby kid, you get the fast-talking kid, you got the smart-ass mouth kid, you got the younger kids, and you got the little siblings that want to tag with them, but you don't want them tagging with you. It's got all this. It's a fun, awesome movie. I don't really want to spoil it too much, but I mean, this was like, kids, you get that, the outcasts that have to kind of step up and save the world. This is one of those movies, but it's fun. Like there's a scene which Duffman mentioned. Wolfman got nards when they actually hit the Wolfman in the nuts, and he's Wolfman doesn't have nards, and they're like, no, Wolfman doesn't have nards, and they actually hit him in the nuts, and he's hurting. He's holding himself, and they're like, Wolfman's got nards. I mean, if you're an 80s kid, or if you've ever seen this movie, you know the joke. I mean, you get this ragtag group of kids who are they're taking on monsters. They're like the chubby kid who's always being made fun of, he grabs a shotgun, he takes out the creature from the Black Lagoon. And one of the bullies is like, "Hey, good job, fat kid." He's, "My name is Horace," and like, it's like, oh shit. I mean, it's just one of those fun movies. I literally can watch it over and over again. The actors who play the monsters did an amazing job. The actor who played Dracula, I mean, he freaking killed it. I mean, for the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, he killed it. I mean, knocked it out of the park. The only thing about the monsters is there's one monster that doesn't want to be evil, and that is Frankenstein. Frankenstein actually befriends the Monster Squad, and especially the youngest member, which is the little sister of one of the main members. In one point, he's even fighting on their side, fighting the other monsters. It's just a fun movie, and when I think Halloween, or I just want a really fun, just awesome movie to watch, this is one of my all-time favorites. Budget of $14 million. For 1987, that's pretty good. Pretty good, because I mean, you gotta have the special effects. It grossed $37.7 million US dollars. Today, or it would have today.
That's what it would have been today.
Yeah. A box office $3.8 million, and it would have resulted in $10.2 million.
Now, this would be considered a flop. This would be considered This would have been considered by today's standards a box office flop.
Yeah, because I mean, you're not breaking even. But this is a cult classic. I mean, this is something that you can go on Amazon right now and order the 4K Ultra HD version of the movie, because it just celebrated an anniversary. Flops don't get that kind of treatment. It became a cult classic. Let's be honest. It is. I see shirts that say Wolfman have nards, and I mean, there's, it's
a pop culture icon. It's like Goonies. It has its place in pop culture history.
Speaking of pop culture icons, we got EC Collecting in the chat. We got Mr. B.
Hello.
Mr. B, I hope you're doing well. And Colin, we were talking you up just a little while ago. Colin's still number one.
The face of fear.
For the face of horror. And if you guys want to vote for Colin, pinned to the top of the chat, you can go click the link and vote for our brother. He still has another, day and a half, I think?
And it's one free vote a day, folks. So if you choose, you get one free vote on your social media account.
Yes, sir.
And if you are blessed in the wallet and you want to donate, you can pay for a certain amount of votes per dollar amount.
They do I think 10 votes you can get for some additional pay amount.
And that's how we plan to get our brother there. He's winning out, and I'm proud of him. And he also just got over to 1K, folks. So congrats to him as well. He's had 2 milestones. So now I feel like I'm slacking.
He kind of has a third thing, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Oh yeah, the third thing we ain't talking about that right now.
We don't talk about Colin right now. No. But I mean, let's take a look at those aggregators. IMDb, 6.9 out of 10, which it's not bad, but also this is something that's really themed for Halloween. So I mean, it is your typical movie that you would have to launch around Halloween time, but at the time they released it around August 14th before Labor Day. I think maybe towards mid to late September probably would have been more ideal for them. But it all depends on what was being released at the time as well. But let's take a look.
Let me do that. You focus on the numbers, I'll do
that. We got, of course, your Rotten Tomatoes at 56%. And Just Watch, is this a new one?
Just Watch. Okay, so Just Watch is like another. Is an aggregator site, but it also is like a streaming site. So they had some stuff there. So they're relatively new, and I felt like they weren't tainted. Awesome. So I wanted to use that number in my in what I was in our numbers, as to say. All right, and, so just to give you guys a heads up, holy shit! All right, yeah. So it's competition for 1987, just in the genre of horror. You had Evil Dead 2.
Oh yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Yeah.
You had
My favorite Elm Street, by the way.
Prince of
Dream
Darkness.
Warriors. Oh yeah, Prince. That was another big one. Those were big ones. Even though Prince of Darkness didn't get a whole lot of advertising back in the day.
It didn't. Lost Boys.
Oh, that's.
I'm not done. We have some heavy hitters right now.
Well, it was the mid to late '80s, so yeah, we had a lot. That was like the horror honeypot, pretty much back then.
You have Predator.
Yeah.
And RoboCop. Not to mention, to finish off just that first list, The Running Man.
A couple of Schwarzenegger films there, buddy.
Yeah, so
Get to the chopper. Maybe we need to do some Schwarzenegger horror movies sometime in the future. But let's take a look here. British magazine Starburst wrote that trending almost the same route as the Lost Boys, Monster Squad succeeds where the film failed because Decker knows his stuff. Doesn't see trendy video technique as a replacement for mood and style. However, predicted that its 15 BBFC certificate would likely prevent it from reaching its intended audience in the country. Vincent Canby of the New York Times called it a feature-length commercial for a joke store that sells not great rubber monster masks. You know what? Back then there was a lot of tough critics all over the place back in the 80s. Siskel and Ebert, those two guys. I was not a fan of Ebert, but Gene Siskel was pretty good. He
was a little bit more even keel
yeah.
in his reviews.
Definitely.
Hey, Blue.
And we know what Blue's favorite movies are.
Shark movies, because he loves sharks.
Sharknado. He probably is watching
Jaws,
The Meg 2.
The Meg 2.
I don't know why anyone would, but I'm just saying. But I mean, to me, this is one of my all-time favorites. I can watch this any time of the year. When I think of Monster Squad, I think of like Fright Night, Lost Boys, and like you said, it's kind of like Goonies meets Ghostbusters in a way, because you get this unlikely group of kids and they basically save the world.
It's a solid. Look, it's 1980s. You're not looking at Predator. Like, you have to look at the competition of the movies it had going against it. I mean, you had the summer blockbusters and you had winter blockbusters, because Running Man, I remember seeing that around November-ish. And then I remember seeing Predator right at the beginning of the summer. And then you had, The Lost Boys, which is a classic, another classic film. So you have all these films kind of eating up Predator, the ideal holiday time.
Predator was kind of like, it was kind of like, you see that one idiot who like hops on the borders, like, hey, look, I'm in New York. Oh, I'm in New Jersey. Hey, look, I'm in New York. It's one of Predator was like, that was like a horror sci-fi element to it. It's horror,
and that was right at the beginning of the summer. So you got to realize that was a summer movie, June 12th that year.
I mean, that was a powerful movie. So I mean, this movie did not have much of a chance to really prove itself. But like we said, it's a cult classic. It's one of my personal favorites of all time.
Hell, RoboCop came out before my birthday that year. It came out July 17th. So you're just looking literally a month. The predecessor films before this movie are what we consider blockbusters for the summer, and they have launched sequels as well as remakes for both of those.
Also, those movies all had massive star power to them too. Peter Weller.
Peter Weller wouldn't have been. No, you're going to talk about Peter Weller. Peter Weller versus Schwarzenegger.
Well, no, I'm saying these movies featured stars. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Like in RoboCop, you had Peter Weller. I mean, you had our guy who would eventually become Red
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers and Schwarzenegger. And Jesse the Body Ventura. For Predator.
Let's not forget
Predator alone.
Robert Englund.
Well, no, I said for Predator alone, they had those three massive icons right there. So, I mean, and this movie really didn't have any, like, massive actors. They were all, like, lower level kind of B and C movie actors who appeared in this movie.
Superman 4 came out that year.
Well, listen, that's like Bruno. We don't talk about Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
And Christopher Reeves is still a hell of a star power.
Yeah, but I felt bad for him because he was in contract, so he had to do that.
Oh, and then okay, so a week before this movie came out, guess what was released? Dolph Lundgren, Frank Langella, Masters of the
There's a
Universe.
universe.
A week before the movie came out. So yeah, you
which
definitely
had nothing, which almost had that movie itself almost had barely anything to do with the toys, barely anything. But I digress. So
yeah. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I just wanted to give that as a background.
you son of a no. I mean, the highlight of that movie was Frank Langella as Skeletor. I mean, let's be honest.
That was very true.
So okay, so we did Monster Squad. Now let's move on to the next one.
All right, so this is mine, and I'm not gonna lie. Dave's already laughing. I have gotten so much shit. Is just the only word I can use for how this movie is considered family friendly. I rated. So you have to look at this. When Dave and I were looking at movies, we had to rate on a couple different criteria, right? And my criteria for this film had to be not hyper violent, not a lot of gore, not a lot of blood, not a lot of nudity. So once, I mean, because usually a family film is zero nudity, and cussing had to be like, on the back then, you couldn't drop an F bomb because that automatically took you into the R rating. Now a PG-13 is one F bomb. So this film is rated R, the very first one. So a lot of my friends were like, Dave, Colin. I mean, most of the guys in the group chat attacked me on this one. And I don't say attacked me in a negative way. They just were like, Dre, seriously? And I was like, well, let's look at the date. It was released July 7th, 2000. So right there, that's 23 years ago. So we're talking how old? What, in 2000? I was in college. I was 20. I was a super senior, so I was 22 years old. My wife laughs at me. I was a super senior because I took some time off in between my semesters. So I was 22 years old, and I was sitting there, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, I mean, I was a college kid still, but this film was geared towards that crowd. It was geared towards the 18 plus. That was the demographic they were shooting for, or really like the 17. Because in our movie, you can get into, in New York anyway, you could have gotten into the theater with your parents buying your ticket and you going in to see the film because that was their acknowledgement of your receipt.
No. What you do is you buy like a kids movie ticket and then you walk into the other theaters. That's what
that's what we used to do in the city. When I was in the suburbs, it was a little bit different. So obviously, now mind you, in the early 2000s, late 90s, you had to look at who were the people that were part of this. The Wayans family, which we know they are famous for creating one of the best sketch comedy shows next to Saturday Night Live that rivaled it, being In Living Color. Now, I will argue that to this day.
Well, okay, now, see...
Mad TV would probably be the next
The
next
Wayans, they were doing kind of what the Zucker brothers did with Naked Gun, Airplane. They kind of took the slapstick, the tongue-in-cheek type joking, and they took it to a whole new level. Because, I mean, they did scary movie, but if you really want a good funny movie with that kind of twisted humor, or that kind of hood humor, so to speak, I'm gonna get you sucker.
And see, but that wasn't scary though. I'm gonna get you sucker was more of a spoof on action.
But you want that kind of comedy though, that's where I'm going with
and which is also they had their hands in that as well. So
that was I think that was one of Keenan's first movies.
That was Keenan's first solo film.
Yeah.
That was his first solo film. And I know that what was it? God, what? Damon.
Don't Be a Menace.
Damon was he was a brother role in the film, and the two younger brothers also had a role in the film as well. So let's look at who starred in this film. Obviously, you have to look at that time. You're talking about American Pie. You have to look at other films that were like an MTV. This is the MTV culture, folks. For those of you that don't know, MTV actually was watchable back in the early 2000s, late 90s, because
And
you
they
watched
still
music.
play some music videos.
They did like 50% was music videos and then 50% was pop culture stuff. So
Reality shows.
road rules and all that stuff.
The real world.
I know the real world. I know the real world. That's where Mike Mazan and them is.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Miz.
Hey, Ben. Yeah. Would you consider Scary Movie a family friendly movie?
No.
She said no. She's not 4. My wife is 4 years younger than me, so she would have been in her late teens.
I would.
She's saying no. I love her face. She's like no.
So she wasn't a super senior. Okay.
She was.
I would probably let Lana watch it.
Yeah, we would let Lana watch it now because it's kind of funny.
I think she can appreciate that humor.
Yeah, it's so you're hearing from my wife what we would let our almost 14-year-old watch. So let's go down the cast. You have Shawn Wayans, Marlon Wayans. Marlon is, I feel, the more outgoing and has been the more successful of those two brothers. Of the two younger brothers. Yes. Between Shawn and Marlon. Yeah. Shannon Elizabeth, we all know her from American Pie. Carmen Electra, we all know her as the former from Dennis Rodman to the former beau of Prince to
and I love how they throw the Prince joke in there.
And yeah, they do throw a great Prince joke in there. And also, let's not forget she was a Playmate because Playboy magazine at that time was risque men's magazine.
But you only know that because of the articles, right?
Yeah, because I read the articles.
Yes,
who didn't have? My wife's laughing. Of course, I read the articles. I mean, I was only 22 years old. I was very interested in reading things and being kept abreast of the news. Get it? Pun intended.
Did you guys hear? Yeah. We get
dad jokes. It was a dad joke. Anna Faris, which we all know, Anna Faris is huge in comedy, and this has kind of been like
in these movies, by the way. But she always played kind of different characters, slightly.
No, she was the same character for all 4 films. For all 4 scary movies, she was the same character.
I'm not a big fan of her, to be perfectly honest.
Her comedy was good, but it's not. I agree.
Well,
so
I'm also not a fan of her outside of acting either. So.
All right. Then we have Kurt Fuller, Regina King. Now, Regina King, we all know her, folks. If you do not know who Regina King is, she is the voice of the Boondocks. If you watch that great cartoon, she's also a great female actress, African American. She's amazing. Lachlan Monroe, Sherry O'Terry. Obviously, Sherry O'Terry is of Saturday Night Live, and John Abrams. Now, this film is, I'm not going to give too much away, but it's obviously a spoof of several of the typical horror genre. At the time, it was I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street. It had Exorcist things thrown in there. Mm-hmm. It's very tongue-in-cheek, very comedic, very funny. But again, it does straddle that line of where the jokes could be misconstrued as being too sexual or being overt. But again, it's
the Wayans, though.
It's the Wayans. It's you know what you're signing on for. These are the guys that created Fire Marshal Bill, and Homie D Clown. So again, I say that and I'm dating myself, and I know Dave knows the references because if you grew up watching the show, you know what I'm talking about. Now,
listen, it was on every Sunday night, and we'd be talking about it in school Monday morning.
Oh yeah,
okay?
We would always talk about it.
Because it was they would have it airing after. Because you would have Simpsons, Married with Children, and then I think you would have In Living Color around that kind of a block of Sunday night entertainment on Fox.
Yeah, because Fox would do they would have In Living Color would be the top of the hour, either 8 or 9 o'clock, and then you would have Married with Children was at 9:30. And then you would have the news or X-Files.
Let me date myself. Shawn Wayans, me and Dre, we didn't meet him. We didn't see Shawn Wayans as Shawn Wayans. We knew him as SW1, the DJ for In Living Color.
Yep, because remember, also, we didn't meet J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, until she was a fly girl. Yeah, she was a fly girl on the show.
She's still a fly girl,
And she's a fly girl now, so let's just keep it a buck. Now, obviously, when people ask me, Dre, when you look at numbers, why did I go 23 years? So just to give you guys an update on future cheat sheets, any movie that is past the decade mark, meaning it's 10 years, it's 11 years older or over, I've noticed that there is a significant change in the money because of what was going on at the time. So the budget for this film, $19 million at the time, which would be now about $34 million. Now, this movie, and I remember seeing this twice in the theaters, grossed $278 million US, not worldwide, just US. And almost 500 million would be considered today. Now, we know back then $150 million in 2000 constituted a sequel. Well, this spawned 4 sequels. Now, obviously, the runtime for this movie is short. It's a comedy. It's not meant to, you can't drag it out too long, or then the jokes just aren't funny. So it ran out for 88 minutes, and 88 minutes, and it had 5 sequels. I've only seen the first 4. I've not seen the 5th one, or if I have, I just don't remember it. Because I think they just didn't get, they got less and less funny as time went on.
Me and
But
Dre
they
are gonna
did
star
get
in the 5th one. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. But they did end up getting more famous actors to come in each one. So as the scary movies progressed, they would change the thing. Like this had Blair Witch in it as well, which I just...
the last one I think they did was excuse me. I think Scary Movie 5 actually made fun of like the Tom Cruise remake
War of the
Worlds. And you know,
Signs. I think it did Signs
too. They did everything in there. They had to make fun of M. Night Shyamalan and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Colin's right. The first 2 are the ones that matter.
Darth Blaze is in the chat.
Captain Baldwin's probably sitting watching it on a different... Now, mind you, we are streaming on 3 different YouTube channels. So it's streaming on our personal channels, and then we stream on our podcast channel. So wherever he is watching it, that's where he's at in the chat. Yeah. So we are able to see everything in our StreamYard. So let's go down the IMDb route. Now, I'm going to say this because a lot of people are hating the aggregators. I'm gonna give... You better not have met me. IMDb is as close to one that I will give credence to because they have never been in the news as like Metacritic or IGN or Rotten Tomatoes. So IMDb has a little bit more credence, and I do notice that IMDb goes a lot deeper into their result. They actually
verify information too. If you submit information, they will verify it. So they're really good with that.
Exactly, and they've been the longest one around as far as aggregators. So they do have some credence to it. So I'm not going to get into the crudeness of it. It's definitely an interesting film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think it's funny. And the next one is another pick that I chose, and this is 2000. So we're going 23 years. So let's go to the.
Before we do that,
go ahead.
I want to bring up something about Colin from EC Collecting.
Oh, we're gonna start now. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I figured this way because if some people drop off at the end, they might not get the information that they're going to be presented for. So a little halftime show for you guys. Okay.
And for those listening on the podcast, you guys will be hearing this information, so we're going to read it off to you. So don't, we're not leaving you out.
By the way, this will require anyone who wants to participate. You will have to follow the socials of Dre at Collector Safe Space on Instagram, Daves_Dimension, and of course EC.Collecting on Instagram, because you have to actually message us to be a part of this. Now, near and dear to Colin's heart is, well, he's a father. He's got a kid. You know, he and you worry about your kids. You know, what are they learning? But more importantly, what are they eating in schools? And Colin found that there is this initiative, there is this fundraising campaign to better funds, to provide better and healthier lunches for our kids in school. It is the school lunch fundraiser. Now, the way this works is, Colin reached out to Dre and I, and Dre did a lot of footwork on this. We have several prizes, several boxes of prizes that will be given away on November 18th. Among those, there is a box, or should I say crate, of Mythic Legends
Crate would be a nice word.
Consisting of at least 6 Mythic Legions figures. That's right, Darth Blaze, if you're listening, we're going to be giving away a box of Mythic Legion figures. Okay, there's going to be a box of NECA, which I think is going to be comprised of Ninja Turtle, assorted figures.
The NECA box is going to be Ninja Turtle donation from Colin, and a donation from our boy Captain Spaulding. So we have a horror and Ninja Turtle NECA figures that will be in those boxes. In that box.
And if you're a Star Wars fan, Rex of Millennium Workshop has created a Darth Maul helmet. A one-off, one-of-a-kind Darth Maul helmet. So we have a lot of great prizes to choose from. Now, what are we asking? Where do you donate? Well, we have the website pulled up right here. We're also going to have this information. We're going to be sharing it all over our socials. But it's FRAC, that's F as in Frank, RAC.org/healthy-school-meals-for-all. So that is your URL. We're going to have this posted everywhere so you guys can see that. You're just going to click that link. You're going to go and make a minimum $10 donation. Now, you can do more if you want, but my suggestion would be, well, you can always do multiple screenshots. Like if you do a screenshot of $10 and then you do another $10 donation, you take another screenshot. It's great if you want to donate $20 in one big bang, but we
understand.
Each verified screenshot is going to be basically an entry for you guys. Okay? And obviously, the more entries we get in, the bigger and crazier your chances are for winning. Now, what do I submit to you? Well, you guys just have to do this. You're going to message us on Instagram. You're going to message us on Instagram with your real name, your screen name on Instagram. You know, because I'm Dave's Dimension myself, Dave's_Dimension. I would have to say, hey, I'm Dave Farrell. You know, I would have to include that information and take a screenshot of what you donated. Because usually when you're doing a donation, they'll show a little something with your name and whatnots. If you've donated online before, you know what I'm referring to. Okay.
Can I just chime in there 1 second? On your screenshot, folks, please blur out any personal information that you do not think anybody should have. Now, if it's your address, that's great. You can leave it there because we need that for shipping the item to you, which the shipping is coming out of our pockets. The Collector Safe Space group is getting together, and we are footing the bill for the shipping of these 5 prize boxes. So you are not paying for anything. Now, if you're in Canada, we are in the process of figuring out what to do with that. So we have an alternative, but we're working on that right now. Now I'll continue on. So like I'll let Dave chew because he's munching down. Now we're gonna have a live stream on. It's gonna be on all our channels. We're gonna film it probably. We're gonna start it probably on Dave's Dimension. We're gonna film it out on Colin's. We're gonna throw it out on mine. We're gonna throw it out across all social media so you can watch. You have to be there for Saturday, November the 18th.
You have to be in the chat.
You have to be in the chat because we are going to do a wheel for your name. And then we are doing, you need to tell us also what your prize choice is.
Yes.
Because I know people are going to be like, I want that Darth Maul half mask. Or I want to go for the Marvel box that Dre and Rebel Base put together. I want this. I want that. Whatever you want, you need to state what number you are. Now, mind you, if everybody wants to go for one item, those other items are going to be what you'll have to pick from once that one is gone, because it is a one and done. We're not going to argue it out.
There's no elimination wheels. We're not dealing with the wheel of Karen. Those of you in the chat know what I'm referring to. It's just going to be a one and done. So we spin a wheel. Let's say it's Darth Blaze. Well, then he gets to choose. Okay, it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to run. And also, you guys who've been through these giveaways know we do elimination wheel. One wheel is 1 hour. We're not doing that. It is going to be a fun hangout stream, though. And you can donate without even, if you don't want to win a prize, but you want to help support the charity, that's also welcome. Utterly and completely. But as you guys can see, you just, once you have your screenshot, make sure you know important information like Dre said. But message us with your screenshot. Now, you can do a screenshot on your phone, usually holding the up volume and your power button at the same time. Or you might have an app for doing something like that. Or maybe you're on your computer. You can still take a screenshot on your computer. You got a Windows computer, you hit your print button. That usually will do a screenshot. Or you can snip and clip. You get the snipping tool on based right in Windows now. So you can do that to take a screenshot. We just ask that, you go into like Microsoft Paints or something like that and take the little highlighter or a little marker and, the virtual marker in there and just kind of cover up your important information. Okay, guys? But yeah, it's going to be an awesome time. I mean, between the NECA, the custom helmet made by Rex.
It's a half mask, not a helmet.
Okay.
It's a half mask, so it will cover from your nose across the top of your dome like this. It is custom, one of one.
Yes.
It is one
it
of
will
one.
Never be made again.
So Rex did a great job on it, folks.
And Mythic Legions. Now, you heard us talking about Mythic Legions. Dre's a part of the Cabal. He's a part of the fandom.
I'm a little part of it. I'm just a little.
He's a part of the fandom.
I'm a little part of it. Just a little bit.
And what he did was he actually reached out to Mythic Legions, and they reached back.
Yep.
Dre was hoping maybe to get a figure.
I literally asked for one.
Yeah. He asked for one, and they sent him a whole box. Was it 6 figures, and was there an accessories?
So I got set? I got 6 figures in the box. I got 3 pins and 3 stickers. They, Walter, thank you so much. And Walter had told me if I had given him more time, that he would have gotten me signed pieces by the artists, and he would have gotten me some T-shirts to throw in there as well. Now, he is mailing me T-shirts. They should hopefully be here in time, but he's currently at Legions Con, or he's going to be going to Legions Con soon. So it's a toss-up on what he's going to be able to get for me.
Who knows? Fingers crossed that maybe someone in this stream will see some Mythic Legion stuff in New York City. I don't know. We'll see.
Exactly.
Let's hope not.
Now, mind you, like I said, just so you guys know, the 5 prize boxes, before we continue, it's a Marvel box. It's going to have 2 Marvel Legends. They're sealed. You have, and it's going to be 3 different mini series of comics donated by Rebel Base. I spoke to my friends that work there. They donated some stuff, so they were very nice to do that. That box totals out about $100. That's our lowest price box.
Why don't you tell everyone who Rebel Base is?
So Rebel Base is my local comic book shop. They're amazing here in North Carolina. They take really good care of me and my family. I've been going to them for well over a decade, and they are just an awesome place to go shop at. So if you are local to North Carolina or come to visit, let me know. I'll get you their address. Rebel Base is amazing to go to. And they're just a small shop, but they're great.
Remember, support your local businesses, and they're supporting us.
And I do want to apologize. The hot toy was supposed to be, we were still figuring out if it was going to be a Marvel or Star Wars, but because I misread the chat, it became a Star Wars hot toy. So John Joker is supplying that hot toy. He's still debating on it, but we will have a hot toy being donated as one of the big higher end prizes. Yeah. The Mythic Legions box valued at over $300. The hot toy well close to $300.
That's another thing, guys. Everything being given away, the minimum amount that it would go for, like cost wise, the worth is $100. Okay, so no matter what you win, you're going to be walking away with immense, insane value. I mean, $100 right there. I mean, it's it's insane, and it's what I like to say, a no-brainer. So personally, I want to thank and commend our brother Colin for saying, "Hey, I want to do a fundraiser for school lunches." You know, it's not what you typically see. Like you see people doing cancer fundraisers or like drives for like animal shelters, which are all amazing causes. But we all got to remember, there's this is a multi-state initiative. If I remember correctly, this isn't just for Collins local state. This is a multi-state
No,
initiative.
this is just so people know. This initiative is when I went to Four Horsemen, they asked to see this initiative, and they themselves are supporting it, as well as my wife and her school are looking to support it as well. So this is a multi-state. So for every state, we have legislation that goes in to the public school systems to supply healthy food options. The thing is, though, because of budget cuts in the current economy, not to get political, that affects what they can purchase as far as healthier food options. This initiative that they're looking to do is to change that to guarantee, because I myself, a 17-year career vet teacher, knows what it's like to see kids that their only breakfast and lunch were their only meals eaten at school. And if they're eating crap food, they're not going to produce well. They're not going to be happy. And I would actually spend money out of pocket to buy snacks for my kids. My wife done it. I've done it. And it's just not feasible. So this is an opportunity for you to put a better plate of food on a table for nieces, nephews, your kids, my kids, whatever you want to look at it as. So, like I said, this is a very big deal for Colin, and it's equally as big for myself and my wife as well. So it's something for y'all to consider, and it's $10. We get 50. Our goal is to get $500
Yes,
donated.
that's what we're aiming for.
So that's literally 50 people. So just that's our spiel. Check it out. Colin spearheaded it. I'm Dave and I have been working nonstop on this, so it's the three of us. Really, it's a passion project for us. So check it out. All right, now back to the film.
And if you don't, we're gonna hunt you down.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be like Jane Silent Bob Strike Back at the end. We're gonna get everyone's addresses, and we're gonna hunt you down if you don't. I mean, at the very least, if you don't find yourself financially able to do anything, if you can at least share this on your social medias, share it on your Facebook, your Twitter, Instagram, whatever you have, your OnlyFans, whatever you got. Don't care.
Smoke Signals. I'll borrow Nerd Affiliated. Smoke Signals. Telegraph.
Don't laugh. We actually have a place on one of the Seneca reservations out here in New York State called Signals. No joke. So that's a real thing. So let's move on to number 3. Now, another favorite of mine. This
right now. Oh my goodness, folks. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge mark. I'm going to use a wrestling term for Bruce Campbell. Love his stuff. Love his comedy. Love the guy. This is just the guy. When it comes to anything campy, anything, anything that he can get his foot in the door.
I mean, we last saw him in Multiverse of Madness as a pizza vendor.
Bob. He was Pizza Bob.
I mean,
Pizza Papa.
He's appeared in so many movies. Like, he's had small bit parts. Anytime Sam Raimi does anything, he gets Bruce involved. Because we're talking movies like Darkman. He had a small little blink and you'll miss it kind of cameo towards the end.
Spider-Man. He played in Spider-Man.
In the Tobey Maguire ones, yes, he did.
Yes, he did. So Bubba Hotep. I mean, I go down the whole. We do have a plan next year to do a
Briscoe
spotlight.
County Jr.
That's TV.
Xena in Hercules as Autolycus.
Exactly.
I mean, he's done some. He was even in Escape from L.A. with Kurt Russell. He played one of the plastic surgeons.
Yes, he did. That was hilarious.
And of course, a great show, Burn Notice.
Great show.
I mean, come on, we're obviously fans of him, but I mean, this was the third in the trilogy. It was supposed to be the final part of the Evil Dead trilogy, but that did not quite happen because, we got a TV show.
and
Ash
that
versus
didn't
the Evil Dead.
and that didn't end that well. It was good.
No, it was a cliffhanger of an ending, which
Yeah.
still gives me hope for like an like adult animation or
Well,
something.
there is rumors that if you played the video game, that one of the DLCs in the video game is actually kind of like a send off to the show.
Yeah.
I've never played the video game, so I know
Well,
it's recently
they
just it got
have
released last year.
in well in the video game they do, because they have there is an Evil Dead video game which they're gonna stop making new content for, but it's still gonna run on the servers at least for the time being. But it's kind of, if you ever played like was it Predator Hunting Grounds or Proving Grounds or whatever it's called, or if you ever played
Apex,
Dead by Daylight,
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight, or even my favorite, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. It's one of those things where you have like 4 characters, and then you have one bad guy.
Oh,
So-
Friday the 13th did that too.
Yeah, so basically you could play as a Deadite, and then you have 4 other people. One could be Bruce, obviously, you know, Ash from the Evil Dead. You can even play as Arthur, who's Arthur, the King Arthur, who's featured in this movie, the character of King Arthur. You can play people from all the various Evil Dead incarnations. You can even play as characters like Pablo from Ash vs. the Evil Dead TV show. So there's a lot of different DLCs in here. It's just that, again, if you're an Army of Darkness, if you're an Evil Dead fan, it is a bit of a cult following. You know, so maybe it doesn't appeal to everyone. And I think this is definitely... And also, in this one, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but there's a scene in here that kind of like... This is the smartest Ash was in any of the movies. In Ash vs. Evil Dead. In Army of Darkness, I should say. If you guys don't know Evil Dead, at the end of Evil Dead 2, there's a time vortex that happens courtesy of the Necronomicon, the Book of the Damned, Book of the Dead. And this time vortex basically scoops up Ash, scoops up his car, his Oldsmobile, and they both land in like medieval England during the time of King Arthur, when they were battling Eric the Red and his men. There's a big battle, and that's where Ash winds up landing. So he has to deal with all these primitives. He gets mistaken for one of the bad guys, gets thrown into a pit with a Deadite, makes short work of that Deadite, because, I mean, come on, he's Ash. I mean, to me, it's a fun movie, but it's a little off if you look at the entire series. You know, it's a time travel thing that doesn't quite make a whole lot of sense, but hey, it's Evil Dead, it's Sam Raimi, it's Bruce Campbell. Does it need to make sense? No. But we get some great lines in here, like, you know, hail to the king, baby.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's, of course, in true Evil Dead fashion, you know, we get an evil version of Ash. We get like little mini Ashes. It's like you get this army of Deadites who are really just army of skeletons, which is just hilarious. It's almost like a throwback to the Harryhausen stop motion movies of way back.
Yes,
when.
I was thinking of Perseus and
Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans.
Yep.
It's a throwback to that. It's hilarious to watch that.
But I mean, that's what Sam is kind of infamous for, that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're making a horror movie and pretty much on a budget, that's kind of what you have to do. And speaking of budgets, I mean, you get and I love how you threw this in here. The cast, we get Bruce Campbell, Embeth Davidtz, Ted Raimi, who's actually Sam Raimi's brother, and he's appeared in almost all the films.
He's the youngest of the brothers.
He actually featured heavily on Sequest back in the 90s.
He was one of the main cast members.
Bridget Fonda has a small little part towards the end of the movie, and I love that you threw her name in there.
Well, I had to.
I mean, if you guys don't know who Bridget Fonda is, she's an amazing actress from like the
Femme
80s
Nikita.
and 90s. And I mean, well, she comes from the famous family. You know, Jane Fonda and all of them. I mean, it's just, you know, and I think, isn't she Peter's daughter, I want to say?
I think she's yeah.
Yeah, like, she doesn't appear until the end of the movie, but we got her in and the actors right there. $11 million budget, which would have related to $24 million today. Only made 21.5, so it did barely double its money. It would have only made $47 million today, which, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it would
That
be
would be
like,
considered a flop. To most people, anything under $100 million now is a flop.
I think it would have. Now, if it had came out today, I think it would have thrived if it was on a streaming service.
Yes.
It would have thrived on the streaming service, but not in the theaters. And, you kind of have, take a look at the poster. This is kind of homage to kind of Star Wars.
It's actually the inspiration, for those of you that don't know. It's there was an Italian artist that did a lot of romance novel covers, and he did a lot of like the Conan. It's a la Frank Franzetti. If you guys do not know who Franzetti is, he's the one who's done all the Conan artwork. He did a lot of the like Aeon Flux style artwork that we would see later on in the early 2000s.
That's a name
late
I haven't
90s.
heard for a while.
Yeah, I can go there, folks. So just to throw in a little bit of base knowledge for people that don't know these things.
Right? See?
Yeah, Clash of the Titans is freaking amazing. I love that film. This is, obviously, it's had several, and I don't want to call them remakes because there are arguments amongst the fans that call the sequel in 2013 a remake, but it actually has Bruce Campbell.
To watch that.
So, God, I almost spoiled something. So, I did spoil it because I read it. It said it there. The 2013 sequel actually takes place in the same universe as the Army of Darkness Evil Dead movies 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because Ash shows up at the end credit scene. Now, they didn't release that. They showed it in theaters, and it had a limited run. It had a great steelbook. It's like an all-red steelbook with the girl on the cover. It's great. Then we actually had the Evil Dead Rise film that came out earlier this year that was another sequel, but not in the same universe, but the same style villains and characters. And Ash did not show up in that one.
I mean, I guess I watched the Evil Dead Rise, and I mean, there could be arguments made, but I get
there aren't.
There's certain things like one thing that shows up in the end of Evil Dead Rise is, of course, the car, which it's not just something that happens with Evil Dead, but any Sam Raimi movie has that car featured in it. It was featured in the Spider-Man movies because that was Uncle Ben and Aunt May's car. It was. I mean, it's just one of those things that it's something that Sam Raimi has to throw into his movies when he does them. But yeah, I mean, I still have yet to watch the 2013 one, which I heard amazing things about.
It's, I think, the best one. If you look at Army of Darkness and Evil Dead Rise, and you take the Army of Darkness television show from Max, I think the 2013 was by far the scariest, and it was true to the genre of horror, where there was no comedy in that movie. It was straight horror. I mean, and I loved it for that.
The very first Evil Dead was definitely a sleeper hit.
Because Evil Dead, for those of you that don't know,
Evil Dead.
Yeah, Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 were supposed to be like horror with dark comedy aspects to it. That's what it's listed as. But when you got to Evil Dead, the 2013 one, that is Evil Dead as a straight, this is a horror film. Evil Dead Rise is also a horror film. It is not comedy. You can laugh if you have a twisted sense of humor, which most of us do.
I resemble that remark.
And we all said it. We all are very desensitized to violence. So take that with a grain of salt when you watch this film. Now, there have been several comic book crossovers.
Not good for you.
Exactly. There's been 2 video games, one on PlayStation 2 that was translated to PlayStation 3, and then there was the online game that was just recently released in 2021. Then there was they just released the tabletop RPG, the TTRPG, where you can play in the universe. There's also been several comics. Marvel actually tried to buy a license to have Ash versus the Marvel zombies, but that did not get to come through. because that
Hey,
fell.
I'm still I'm hoping.
I would love to see that because I saw
If it did, you would get me back into buying comics.
it was a fantastic idea, and it was the images that they had gotten were looking amazing,
Here,
but it
put it
was
in.
not. It didn't get to happen. And then there was the canceled television series, which only did 2.5 seasons, and then they canceled it.
It was. I think it was 3 technically.
It might have been 3 seasons. I
Yeah,
might be wrong,
and
but
I
I
mean,
remember watching it, and it was good for what it
and
was.
and I mean, honestly, if you're an Evil Dead fan, you can watch it. It is on streaming services right now. I think it may even be on
It's on
Hulu right
Max.
now.
It's on. It should be on Max because that's where it got its start from.
No, you're wrong, sir.
I'm wrong.
It originated on Stars.
On Stars, but Max owned Stars.
No,
Yes,
no.
yes. Back in the day, it was on. When I remember watching Stars, Stars was on my.
Stars was an offshoot of Encore originally back in the day,
Mm.
because you had an Encore channel that is expanded into 4 different Encores and Stars.
Yeah, it did
HBO and
epics and all that
Cinemax
shit.
were together. Those were
Gotcha.
they were half brothers right there. So, yep.
All right. So look, see
Sorry.
that's. Hey, I don't argue that. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I
Trust
think
me.
that's awesome.
I'm one of those people. I sadly missed out on going to. Bruce Campbell was recently doing a tour, where he was doing not your average trivia show. At his appearances, where they did a live screening of one of his movies. They switched it around, and they did like a trivia thing, and it was a whole meet and greet with Bruce Campbell. But my friends want to go there. My buddy has like 4 of his books and has like so many different autographs from Bruce.
He
Anytime
is the
Bruce
king.
comes to town, yeah.
People say he's the king of B films, and he really is, folks. If you want to ever see
And
anything
proud of
he's
it.
done, and he wears it proud. That's why I love him.
Yep.
I'm not going to go further into this. Obviously, I think we've given it a way it's due. It is a pop culture film. I think it's on my top 20 movies you need to watch in your lifetime.
I just rewatched it
reasons.
the other night, honestly, and I still love it. It's
Oh
still
yeah,
one of those.
I watch it. It's
I mean,
hilarious.
yeah, it's
This is my boomstick.
Primitive screwheads.
Love it. Love that film.
No, what I love is there's a scene when he takes a shotgun, he shoots the deadite, and he's all like, he starts explaining, oh, this is made in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he starts going as cobalt blue steel, and you can get this for like 109 something in smart shop smart because he works in a retail store, and like he's like you can find this in the homewares aisle. It's just, I mean, only Bruce Campbell can deliver these lines with a straight damn face.
You wonder
And
why we would laugh.
The prosthetics that he kind of goes through.
The Jay Leno chin.
Yeah. I mean, it's an awesome movie. I mean, come on, we love horror, we love a scare, but we also love to have some laughs while getting a scare. That's why so many of us love Freddy Krueger. That's why so many of us love Chucky, the Leprechaun, and the list can go on and on and on and on and on. I mean, honestly, this is one movie that I laugh my ass off all the time, especially if I'm with my brothers. House of a Thousand Corpses, that will have me cracking the entire way through. It's not.
Yeah, I know Captain Spaulding must love that.
It's Well, see that's it. Was Captain Spaulding, and moment of silence. Gotta remember him, the actor who played Captain Spaulding. He passed away 2 years ago now, I think it was. But he was an amazing actor. But I mean, it's just we love a scare, but we also love to laugh. I mean, that's Halloween itself.
Do we have another one?
No, we don't have another one. But do we want to go over the write-ups here?
Okay, I'll read them.
Okay.
It says right here, some of the evil magic is gone as this trilogy caper dispenses with most of the scares, but Bruce Campbell's hammy charm and Sam Raimi's homage to classic visual effects make for a fun enough adventure. And then the other result was from Entertainment Weekly. They said they gave the film a C+. The spoofy cast of thousands looks a little too much like a crew of bland Hollywood extras. By the time Army of Darkness turns into a retread of Jason and the Argonauts, oh God, another great film, featuring the army of fighting skeletons, the film has fallen into a ditch between parody and spectacle. And truth be told,
But
folks,
that's Evil Dead.
that's Evil Dead. If you walk into this film expecting an Oscar-winning performance, you went to the wrong damn movie. I mean, that's just 100. I'm being a buck with y'all. You go to this film expecting to laugh your ass off and enjoy the comedy. Enjoy the raucousness.
Expect things to make sense either.
Exactly. That's like going to see a Leslie Nielsen naked gun film and expecting a police drama.
Well,
no.
You know what? I mean, Leslie Nielsen started as a serious actor, and then he shifted to comedy.
And his comedies is some of the best stuff he's ever done.
He was like a straight face, straight portrayal, and then years later, he's doing Airplane and the Naked Gun movies, and Spy Hard?
Spy Hard. Oh Lord, we need to do. That's another one on the list too of all his films. But yeah, these are now. Why would we consider Army of Darkness more family friendly? Because it really does touch on the. You could take a kid to go see this film and they wouldn't be freaked out.
You're not seeing any. You're not seeing anything really.
There's no nudity. There's no. There's the most cussing you get out of it's damn and hell. You don't. I think you might get an occasional shit drop.
Why don't you go cry home to mama? But again, they're really there's no profanity really in here.
Hey, Kat.
It's speaking of profanity. No, I'm kidding. We love you, Kat. Vader's girl just popped in the chat. Yeah, I mean it's just an awesome movie. We have more horror coming our way, of course, next week.
Yeah, we do.
Dre, what movies are we gonna review next week?
Well, I have been teetering on
and tottering. It's a thing he does.
I do. And I'm gonna just take a quick look because I think we'll do the slashers. No, we're gonna do the slashers. I didn't even get into the thing yet. We're gonna do slashers. And when I say slashers, folks, I'm talking slashers. We're talking some of the goriest of gore. The classics that we would be looking at would be like Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original 1974, none of the remakes. So
next week is the famous slashers. You had on here #squad goals.
Yeah, it's hilarious. You guys can't see the images. I literally went out, and Dave knows I take about 2 or 3 days to do some of these, to make these, and that one took me like a day, but it was so perfect because I love the squad goals image on the front of it. I want to wear it as a T-shirt actually.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, I have one of those figures featured in one of the movies right next to me.
Actually, we have our brother wants to be on here. Colin, you're more than welcome to join us. I'll send you the list.
Yep. Yeah, we have some good ones here. I have to find the first movie though.
I have them all.
Okay, because yeah, we're going to a movie before either of us was born.
1974.
Yep. So yeah, we got some good picks here. But guys, as always,
send it. All right, I'm in my Google Drive as we're doing the wrap up. So
send it. So and also once again, by the way, guys, we want you, if you scroll to the top of the chat, you'll see a link there for our brother Colin, because he's number 1 in the running right now to be the face of horror. So please consider supporting our brother. The link is in the top of the chat, or if you really want to, you can just pause this stream right now and write everything down. So it's faceofhorror.org/2023, and then yada, 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 all the gibberish right there. So you can go there and you can vote. There's a daily free vote, or if you want to throw some money and give Colin a burst of like 10 votes at once, you can do that as well. But we have that going on. Colin just broke. Colin's Mr. 1000. Mr. Money, 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 money. So, again, please consider supporting our brother, EC Collecting. Also, he is, like we were talking about the school lunch fundraiser that we're doing. He brought that to us. I mean, he's working so hard. He's all over the place, and we just want to show a little bit of love back at him. Don't and guys, by the way, check out all of our socials. EC.collecting on Instagram. You can also check out the Collector's Safe Space on Instagram.
Now my Instagram is the same as the YouTube channel. I had to change it because people kept calling me the Collector Safe Space. I am Dre. As Instagram, it is Dre, DRE, of Collector's Safe Space. All one word.
And by the way, how badass is that? Right there. His logo, he's got all kinds of creatures. He's got Lego guys. He's got like
Pikachu and a Predator.
Viking. Hey.
You can't go wrong with that.
Just saying. And of course, then there's this idiot.
Now this guy here, he's a
nutbar.
davesdimension. Dave's underscore. Remember to throw the underscore in, or you will not get him on his Instagram.
There is no apostrophe. It's just DAVEIS.
Oh, he kicked himself out.
Yep. But of course, as always, guys, you could also follow the Outer Dimension Podcast at the Outer Dimension Podcast on Instagram. There's us coming out of the vortex. You gotta love it.
And if you guys want, we are in the process of getting to make this on a t-shirt. So it should, if everything works out, we will probably have it up by like after Christmas. That's like my goal, to try to get it up on by Christmas so you guys can have that.
But Dre, what do you have going on? What do you have on your channel this week?
Well, I just looked at the video that dropped today, which was...
You mean your retro rewind?
Yes, my retro rewind. So for those of you that don't know, I was approached by Yukon Phil last year to show a lot of my older content. And for whatever reason, between my lives and my retro rewind content, it is killing the YouTube algorithm. They love it. Everybody eats it up. So if you watch, you can see some of my older videos, and it's one that's a little bit more educational, but it's still geeky in the content, so you guys can like it. It's a little long, but it's worth watch. It's a good worthwhile watch. I am in the process of editing some videos. I do have a backlog. I did go on live yesterday. This is my pile of shame, as you can see here. So I will be trying to go live maybe over the weekend. I don't know yet. I'm in the process. I know there's another box being delivered tomorrow or Friday, really? I think. Yeah, from somebody up north. There's a bunch of
idiots up north. What can I say?
Not pointing that my boy over here sent me something, so which is cool because I'm excited about it.
You're pointing away.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm pointing this way, and I'm trying to figure out which way it would get you. So either which way, but yeah. And then obviously we have not really a lot of much else going on content wise. I do have a lot of backlog of comic books I'm going through to start doing some reads again, because again the algorithm loved when I did the ASMR read. So we're going to be continuing with the Cult of Misery, books 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those will probably be going up over the next 4 weeks. And then, we're going to be, the newer content will be some interviews and some lives that we have going on. And that's about it. I had to cancel the panel that we were going to be going to at NC Durham. Just time and family just matter more to us right now. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be here. But that does not delay us doing our mental health panel, which is right now November the 4th. I have had several people reach out to me on Instagram that want to come on. If you want to come on the show, we have limited spots because, I hate to say it, it's StreamYard, not us. We would love to have everybody come on. But StreamYard has 10 slots we can put on. That's a bandwidth thing, and we got to be mindful of it. And it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard till noon. If you want to be on, it's going to be the first week of November. And I did say that we are going to probably skip December just because of time. Dave and I the holidays are a crunch. and I have my daughter's birthday the first week. I have my anniversary and Christmas. You know, we have about 3 major shows Dave and I have planned in there. 2 holiday specials we're doing with the
Yeah.
guys.
And I
It's too
mean,
much.
respectfully, it comes down to Dre has his channel, I have my channel, then we have this channel that we share. So it is kind of hard to plan around everything. And I mean, Halloween, October is a busy month for me because of the charity cosplay group I'm a part of. And December is a busy month because we do Toys for Tots then too. So I mean, it's kind of hard. And you know, we do have, you know, honestly, we have lives. And by the way, I want to give a big shout out to Rolando. I just got a bunch of notifications. He's sharing Colin's link for Face of Horror in so many different groups. So
Good
thank you
job.
for that tremendously, Rolando. I mean, we appreciate that. You didn't have to, but of course you're that guy.
He's the guy
You're
in
the
the chair.
multiversal moderator, and I am hearing more and more people refer to you as that, and I'm proud of that.
Across, let's see, Yukon Phil, Nerd Affiliated,
Uh-huh.
Dave's Dimension,
And by the way,
KBG,
I
the Collector Safe Space. We've named you.
I want to say this. Anyone out there who, if you're not already following Nerd Affiliated, I want you to reach out to them, and I want you to check out. They're a collection of 3 amazing content creators. Sal, Archer, and Anthony. They are amazing content creators, and I really want you guys to go out and support them. YouTube has been YouTubing, and there's a lot of people, a lot of content creators who are kind of either losing monetization or the algorithm is treating them in a very negative fashion to no fault of their own. And I want you to go ahead and show some love to Nerd Affiliated. They're personally they're friends of mine. They're friends of Dre. I mean, they're all about positivity and nothing. They're nothing about negativity. They're
They
always
spread love for the
positive.
community, man. And
Eight,
you've got we got to say one thing though. You've
around
got
8
to
8:20
Go
to
ahead.
8:30 on Thursday nights. They do a live stream, and also Monday mornings, Nerdy Coffee, where they covered the latest and greatest in geek news. So please consider checking them out and following them. Please, it would mean a lot to me personally. Because this week
Both of
I
us.
know 4 different people who've gotten hit with YouTube, either demonetizing
Or
or making it so that content that they're putting out, which is original content of their own, is like one person I knew, they were showing a video of their own that they made like 6 or 8 months ago, and they got flagged because it was content that was previously released. If I'm doing a live stream and I reference one of my own videos, as long as it belongs to my channel, that should be perfectly fine. But this person got flagged. YouTube is really, you know, they're doing some stuff, but you know, stuff like this happens. You could jump ship to another platform, but they're not. I just want you to go ahead and support them. In fact, those guys are going to have some amazing content this week because they're going to NYCC. Now, I'm not going to be able to see them suit up, but someone else is going to be at NYCC. I have no content right now scheduled until maybe next week. I'll be going to New York City Comic Con. I'm hoping to get some photos, some pictures. It might just be a slideshow video with me doing voiceover. Who knows? But I'm hoping that there's going to be some fun stuff coming through the pipeline. I know a few people who've handed me a shopping list. Wink, wink. Dre.
I did nothing of the sort. I just started working, so I'm happy. That's all I'm going to say. But I will say this, just on the Nerd Affiliated front. He did say on Monday how upset he is by this, but he's still going to be putting content out.
Yes.
So, folks, like they said, and like Dave just said, adequately and just make sure you're going by liking the videos, watching it, just because I know how hard they put their effort out for this.
Genuine views. Don't just say, "Oh, cool video, bro," and then hop off. Actually watch the content, because honestly, Archer and Nerd Affiliated, Sal, Ramblin' Nerd, Anthony, they all make amazing. They make great videos. And they come up with. They have good quality too. Good video quality, good sound quality. Not that that's required, but I mean, they really bring their A game. And I know other people. I don't want to name everyone who's being hit with it, but there's a lot of people who are getting hit with it. It might just be something to do with the algorithm. YouTube's probably trying to be competitive with Kick and so many others, but honestly, it's I don't know. It's just a big mess. We all have our stories when it comes to YouTube, and how it frustrates things. But pushing forward and doing what we do, that's how we keep it going. But I just want to say, keep checking out Dre's content, Colin's content. Actually, me and Colin, since I had Monday off this past week, we did a stream together where we unboxed, but we were mostly just rambling and looking at sideshow stuff. I don't trust YouTube, Colin says. Well, I don't trust it either,
We all don't.
YouTube is that shifty guy selling bootlegs walking around the corner,
You want to see that newest movie? I got you. $10.
You want that John Wick 6? What? There wasn't
Exactly.
even a 5 yet. How you got a 6? Oh,
Don't worry, it's like
got it right
Spaceballs. We jumped ahead.
So, guys, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Dre, any parting thoughts on our movies or?
I do have two thoughts. One, I just know I saw it before while you were doing your Monster Squad homage, because I love watching you talk about it because it's just fun. It's official. Disney has fired the entire writing crew for Daredevil.
Yep.
And Daredevil Reborn is going to be a whole brand new storyline.
So they're rebooting the reboot.
They're rebooting a reboot, and it sounds like it's going to be really good, because a lot of people were speculating that the storyline was going to be kind of dry.
Netflix people. That's all I say.
We're getting Charlie Cox, which is he's amazing. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're not getting Foggy. We're not getting anybody else. So
which they should have brought them back, but that's a story for another day.
No Foggy, no Karen.
Watch Loki.
That's the only Karen I would put up with.
Exactly, because we don't like Karens. Watch Loki. No. Watch Loki. Watch Loki. That's what I will tell you, because it is a damn good show. I'm sad that we don't have Ahsoka.
I only watched it I watched last week's episode.
Tonight we have the new one.
I enjoyed it. It's going to be getting good.
I'm going to watch it. After we get done with the stream, I'm going to get on and watch it. So, but overall, folks, make sure you're supporting your content creators, because this is a passion project for a lot of us. We don't expect to get monetized. We don't expect to get money from it. A lot of us do this. Like I say, I work a full-time job. Dave works a full-time job. I'm a parent. Dave has his fur babies and his wife. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. And we do this as straight up fun. So we appreciate y'all, because without y'all, we wouldn't be doing this. And to those listening to the podcast, when we have our merch, we will let you know where to get it. And hopefully, like I said, 2024 is going to be some cool stuff. So definitely check it out and stay tuned to our socials. And of course, my words when you tell me when we're going to leave is that you to watch. I'll say that when you tell me, when you cue me up for it.
Well, guys, Dre, go ahead and say those words.
Folks, watch your heads as we exit the portal. And as always, my friends, peace, love, and chicken grease.
Catch you guys on the flip side. Take care. We'll see you next week.